Hi everyone, it's Marlene. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Penn Smith from Penn Smith Skincare tagged me for this video, and it's more than just makeup. It's more about us and our personal life, or things that make us tick, I guess. Anyway, I've seen a few ladies do this tag, and I thought it was fun to get to know them better that way, and I was hoping that you would enjoy it as well. So when Penn tagged me, I said absolutely, I will certainly do that tag. So without further ado, let's get started. Question number one, what's your favorite thing about where you live? My favorite thing about where I live has to be definitely living near the water. I love getting up in the morning and sitting, having my cup of coffee and being out on the balcony looking out to the water and watching the manatees and the dolphins. It truly makes my day. It's a great way to start my day. Question number two, who in your life inspires you the most? I think I have a lot of people. I think we all do have many people in our lives that inspire us. If I have to choose just one person, it would have to be my mom, because she encountered numerous hardships in her life and many pebbles across the road. And there was a long period of time where it was just my mom and myself. And she showed me how important it was to stay strong and not allow the world to crumble around you. So yes, it would have to be my mom. If I have to name others, it would have to be my siblings. Each in their own way have always inspired me for their strength and their ability to always continue on regardless of what life throws at them. And of course, my children, especially Stephanie, she inspires me all the time. She inspired me to start my YouTube channel, as did Christy, and I look up to them because they're young and they have a lot going on, and yet they still take out the time to do so much. And I figured, well, if they could do it, then you know what? I should be doing it as well. Question number three, what are you afraid of? This is, I don't have to give this a lot of thought for this question. I think what I am most afraid of is for something to happen at school and for me not to be able to protect my students. That terrifies me. You hear of all of these horrors going on, and what's not to say that our school is going to be next. So when I leave in the morning, I just say a short prayer and ask for the strength and the knowledge and the courage to be able to always be able to protect my students, and they are first and foremost. I've been very fortunate up until now, because there have been times when we have had scares, and this is neither the time nor the place to talk about it, but it is a scary situation. And as a teacher, I think if any of you are teachers out there, you know exactly what I mean. As parents too, we don't want anything to happen to our children, and we stay up at night, whether it's their newborn or when they're 30 or 40 years old, and we just pray that they are safe and that no harm comes to them. I don't think that there's really any difference, or much of a difference rather. Question number four, what is the one thing you wish you can tell your teenage self? Oh my gosh, don't date that boy. No, well, yeah, I would tell her that, don't date him. But seriously, I would say to the young teenage Marlene, I would tell her, stop soaking yourself in all that baby oil and baking yourself to death. When you get to be 60 years old, you're going to have brown spot and melasma and all of that stuff, hyperpigmentation, all of that on your face. So stay away from the sun and all that baby oil, and don't iron your hair anymore. It ruins it. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you? I think that I have at least 3 or 4 things that would really surprise people about me, but I think the number one thing that would surprise many of you is that I used to repossess cars in order to get myself through college. I was the repo girl, and yeah, it was dangerous, but it was also a lot of fun, and I made enough money to support myself, my children, get myself through school. Yeah, I repoed cars. Okay, question number 6, how do you relax and de-stress? I relax and distress. If I am home, I will watch a haul video or an unboxing or a tutorial, and it just really takes me away. Honestly, the whole world disappears when I am in front of a video and just watching someone apply their makeup or doing a haul or talking about some skincare products. That distresses me. If I have the opportunity to walk over to the beach and sit there by the ocean and just take in the ocean air and the salt and the breeze, that is a total distressor for me. I can't imagine anything better than that. Question number 7, why do you love makeup? I don't know. I have had this love and passion for makeup ever since I could remember. Probably it must have started when I would sit on the floor and I would watch my grandmother apply her makeup. And I remember her applying the powder and applying her blush and her lipstick, and I was totally fascinated by it. I also think it brings out in me some type of creative portion, because I am not a creative person at all. I have zero creativity. But when it comes to makeup, it's totally different. I like to mix the colors, and I like to see what works and what shape of eye can be achieved, or the shape of the face, how it could be changed. There were years while I was in high school, and I was bound and determined that I was going to be a makeup artist. I wanted to do, I guess we call it now, FX makeup, doing stage makeup, and I was fascinated by it. But I wasn't smart enough to really put myself together and do that. But that's okay. That's not where I was meant to be. I was meant to be in the classroom. Question number 8. Who is the first YouTuber you can ever remember watching? I think the first YouTuber that I ever watched was Jaclyn Hill, and that was because Stephanie suggested that I watch her, because I didn't know what YouTube was. And she said, "Mom, you gotta watch her." I am no one to critique anyone, because I am not a judge, and to each his own. And I admire her, and I think she does beautiful work. But at that point in my life, I had a very difficult time watching her videos. The same with Manny MUA. I had a difficult time. I could admire their artistic abilities and what they do, and whether some people love them or hate them, that is neither here nor there. I personally admire what they do. I think that the ones that really got me to really sit down and watch YouTube were Emily Noel. I loved watching her and her reviews and the way she was so focused. I also enjoyed watching Angie Hot and Flashy. I think I've been watching Angie since she had maybe, I don't know, 30,000 subscribers or something like that. I don't think she had many more than that. And then I met Mary Ellen, and I met Nathalie, and I met Mary GlitzyFritzy. But that came more along as time went on. Once I was watching YouTube for a few months, then I started getting to know these others. But Jaclyn Hill was the very first YouTuber that I watched. Number 9, my favorite childhood memory. I think my favorite childhood memory is going to Puerto Rico to visit my grandparents. My grandparents and my parents are Cuban, and they left Cuba in the 50s. After my grandparents had lived in Jersey, they moved to Puerto Rico because they were looking for a place with a warmer climate that was very similar to Cuba. And obviously they couldn't go to Cuba, so they moved to Puerto Rico. And they lived there for many years. Every year for the summer, my mother would send me over to my grandparents' house, so I could go to the beach and I could have fun. And my grandparents belonged to a Cuban social club, so to speak. And there were lots of kids there, and it was by the water, and I had so much fun. We would be there from morning to evening. I don't know, I guess they played dominoes, they talked with their friends, they had a good time, and I was in heaven. Those are probably my best childhood memories. So yeah, those are really some of the memories that I cherish the most. Question number 10. What is your favorite book? I think I neglected to say this at the beginning of the video, but this tag was started by Shannon from Pages and Polish, and she does reviews on books and she does reviews on makeup. And that is the reason why there is that question there. I have to say, when I read it, I really had to stop and think, because I am an avid reader. I have been an avid reader ever since I could remember. And I always have my face in a book. Now it's a little bit harder. But anyway, back to the question, because I am digressing. My favorite book, it would have to be A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. It's a book about poverty and parenthood and the immigration experience. I have read it a few times. It's been quite a long time since I've read it, but I have really, that has to be in my top favorite. Being a 6th grade teacher, I can't leave out a children's book or a young adult book, and that book would have to be The Giver by Lois Lowry. It's one of my favorite books. My students and I read it every year, and I think during the first week of school, one of the first things my 6th graders asked me is, are we going to read The Giver? Yes. And it gives them an in-depth look about the difference between a utopian and a dystopian society. They realize that a perfect world doesn't necessarily mean that that is the best thing. So yeah, it would have to be The Giver for the young adults, and it would have to be A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. All right, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this tag. Penn, thank you so much for tagging me. It was a lot of fun. I hope you all have enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better. Thank you for spending this bit of time with me. I truly appreciate it. And don't forget, ladies, follow your passion, whatever it may be. I'll see you next time. Bye.